All right, why do I get the sense that we're wasting time? That the people who are for Tulsi Gabbard, Bernie Sanders, we waste so much time. We waste time thinking that the system isn't rigged. Let's start off with that. And we just say, well, this time it's going to be different. We're going to break through. Yeah. It's like domestic abuse, isn't it? Well, it's because he had a tough day. He drank too much last night. Won't happen again. He's really a good guy. It's the old definition of insanity, thinking that it's going to change and it doesn't, and you just brush it off. And that's one problem. That's just one. The other problem is all of the progressive media I watch are just obsessed with tearing down the corporate candidates. I don't know why, but in my gut, I just think that this is the wrong way to go. Saying, look, this guy, you could say this guy doesn't have an idea about this, or call out his record in a way that compares that record to the record of the other guy. You know what I mean? There's got... See, I get it. If you want clicks and you want views, you make your videos edgy. And by the way, use a lot of profanity. And here's my take on that. Since doing these videos, and I've always done videos that are family friendly. Maybe because I don't want to be demonetized, but that doesn't seem to help my cause from yesterday, because when I put Joe Rogan's name and Tulsi Gabbard's name in a video, and this one probably will get flagged now because I just did that. I think people will take you a little more seriously if you save the profanity for maybe one moment in the video, rather than the profanity being an adjective where you're just like, blankety blank blank, and it's like, my kid, my 5-year-old's in the other room going, Dad, he just said another bad word. I can't watch this. I'm going to have to go on the computer and watch this now because I can't put it on the big screen. Just a little advice. Because there are families, by the way, at risk here. In other words, there are families who believe that Tulsi Gabbard, Bernie Sanders are the people that are going to help them the most, because typically families are kind of working class and are struggling, especially if it's a large family. And the message, hearing about Bernie and Tulsi, might actually be a liberating thing for them. But if you're trying to be all edgy and cool, and because, hey man, I can drop, I'm a George Carlin. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not a George Carlin. George Carlin was the best. Okay? You're trying to be George Carlin. You're trying to be all edgy and funny and stuff. And meanwhile, the country's burning, you know? Literally. The world is on fire. And that goes to Bill Nye, the science guy. Your demonstration was great. But WTF? What happened with that? All that language? You're the guy that used to tell 12-year-olds about, photosynthesis, and now you're dropping F-bombs? I mean, civility has got to start somewhere. Adults need to start to behave like adults. Tulsi Gabbard carries herself in a way that has appealed probably to some of those very erudite conservatives who normally don't give Democrats the time of day, because Democrats come off as lunatics a lot of times. And yeah, I know the Republicans do, like a guy like Ted Cruz, he's a different kind of lunatic. But it's the ranting, the raving, the I'm on the House floor impeaching 24/7. They may not like Trump, but they don't want you impeaching Trump. They'd rather have you talking issues. How can you guys implement Medicare for all? Tell me about it. This Green New Deal. How is it not going to hurt the economy if we do the Green New Deal? Like, this is how you bridge the gap and you have a conversation. That's why Tulsi Gabbard says, no, off fossil fuels, and I'll tell you how this works. It's an actionable plan, and it's not just some non-binding resolution. For all of you people that love the Paris Accords, it's a symbolic thing. Didn't do anything. Everybody even said, the real true people that cared about climate change were like, it doesn't go far enough because all these other countries can still pollute. And it's kind of like a pledge. So, again, I think all this boils down to authenticity. Tulsi's authentic. And then the other part of this is how the media and how the progressive media is handling like a guy like Joe Biden 24/7. Keep in mind, there's an adage, and it worked on my music channel for a while, but then I had to block everything. Negative publicity is publicity. And this works in Trump's favor too. Trump doesn't really care that he's getting beat up. In fact, he might be doing it on purpose. He might not be playing 3D chess, but he might actually have some pieces on a one-dimensional chessboard saying, yeah, let them come at me. They're going to keep talking about me. People who follow me are going to dig in, and they're going to be loyal. So there's always this motivation that maybe we don't see. So, hey, you're giving Joe Biden coverage? Then some people are going to go over and see poor old Uncle Joe getting beat up by angry F-bomb throwing progressive who seems out of control, and then some news host from one of these major networks will take a clip and they'll say, this is the socialism that's going on. These are the socialists that are coming to take away your freedoms. And I still say you need to define what you mean by socialism, that it's not actually socialism. It is a free market with some controls on the banks and some controls on cronyism, obviously, and leveling the playing field to some degree, but all through agreed upon legislation. The government will not be coming to your house with guns to tell you to do X, Y, and Z. And it may seem very elementary to the people who talk about it all the time, but to more than 50% of the country, it's probably a foreign concept. So, again, you'd spend a lot better, your time would be better spent if, while disparaging Joe Biden, you explain the other side. You explain the Bernie, Tulsi position and what that would mean for the average Joe. That's all. But the tribalism, I hate to say it, but the tribalism is really a hard thing to shake. Because now I'm kind of in a tribe. I don't say I'm a tribal person, because I'm not into the Mueller report, and I don't want to just defeat Republicans because they're evil Republicans. And I don't, of all the things that Trump is, what he's most right now is somebody who is defying the United States Constitution by going to war when there's been no declaration of war, or hanging on to a war declaration that is 20 years old and needs to be reauthorized. That's one. There are more. And see, this is why guys like Aaron Matei, they'll go on and they'll say, of all the things you guys could have went after, this Russian thing. Okay? So there is a certain element of tribalism even in my world, because now I'm in this world, and I'm going to stick up for these principles, and I'm going to call out, but I'm not doing it, I'm thinking I'm not doing it for the sake of just arguing with people, because I don't want to be that person. I don't want to wake up in the morning and think I'm going to feel better because I went after this group, because that's not how we're going to have unity, and that's not how we're going to fix problems. And by the way, it's not how you're going to persuade the Joe Biden person to come over or the Trump person to come over, Because I see these problems like, you don't belong in my group because you've supported that guy. Or you used to believe this 20 years ago. So you don't belong in my group. So I'm not going to talk to you. Oh no? Well, people are going to have babies faster. So your group will build up. Because really, people who are over 50 probably had a different opinion about something. And by the way, that's what a guy like Biden, he's going to get all kinds of daylight on that because he's changed positions a million times. And you can keep showing videos to people. I don't know if that's going to work. I think you need to show videos of Tulsi Gabbard and Bernie Sanders and then do an A-B comparison with Joe's opinions on the same topic, or how those opinions differ, and how Tulsi's is better. The tribal stuff, again, in the end, is a turnoff. The constant edgy profanity to make your video cool and hip. There are families that are watching these videos, and I hate to tell you, I don't want my 5-year-old listening to this crap. So I purposely turn it off. You know, I love the energy and the passion and the sentiment and all that. I love that stuff, and that gets my creative energy going. But I got to tell you, communication is key if we want to win these battles. The progressives, whatever you want to call yourselves, the people on the hard left or the real left, with what people are told on the other side about what you guys believe and how you behave, and all you guys are Antifa members and so forth, when we know that's not true, it's not even close. In order to bridge the gap, you're going to have to focus on things that matter. That's why Tulsi Gabbard's campaign is different, because she decided at the very beginning to take the high road. And she would not have gotten me into all of these other issues if she had used the playbook, the tribalist playbook. If she was Elizabeth Warren, I would never support Elizabeth Warren. Ever. Okay? She's on the floor railing about impeachment and completely out of touch with the reality and the truth of that hoax. And she's leaning on that for political points. And Tulsi Gabbard is just leaning on ideas. She's leaning on, hey, you know what? I need everybody. Say I don't get everybody's vote, but I need people to respect me as a person. This guy, who I won't say, but he's affiliated with a guy who was banned from this platform. His initials are PJW. Said about Tulsi Gabbard, here is a true, real liberal. Because she believes in free speech. Because liberals, when I was growing up, liberals would fight for your right to have free speech. Now, liberals, some of them, the left, neocon left, they can't wait to pull your content down. Because they don't want these ideas in the public square. Whereas yours truly, we need more speech, not less. Because that's how we're going to talk our problems out. Otherwise, we are living in our own little echo chamber, isolated from reality, creating our own safe space. That's why supporting Tulsi Gabbard is so important, because she represents the new paradigm in politics right now. So, all right, that's my video. I'm still congested. Talk to you soon.